Alright, so today we're going to learn how to solve single variable equations, which is basic. Does anybody know what a variable is? Kumar.
Is it any number? It's a letter that stands for anything.
Okay, so give me an example.
Like X.
X. What else?
Y.
Y.
Smiley face.
Smiley face. There we go. See,
Yeah.
you got anything. So say this comes up if you got a number, right? But you don't know what it is. So like, I have a certain number of apples, and Sven adds 2. That would be X plus 2 equals, let's just say, so how many would I have altogether? I would have 8, right? So we don't know how many I have, but we know how many Sven has. So what we're going to do here, okay, so you two stand up. What you're going to do, this is something I call the mirror trick. So if you stand like this, whatever he does on this side, you're going to do. It's just like a mirror. So if he goes like this, you go like that. Up, up, down, down, clap, stuff like that. So whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other. But then there's also the additive inverse, which is basically, so the additive inverse is whatever it takes to get to 0. So the additive inverse of 2, you two can sit down. So the additive inverse of 2 would be something like, what? Josh? Additive inverse of 2.
6.
No.
2.
What? Negative 2, right?
Minus 2.
So when you subtract 2, you get to 0. So you're trying to get rid of this, right? So you subtract 2. So X will equal what? Since you had to do it on both sides. Then?
6.
6, right. So X equals 6. That means I had 6 apples, so then added 2 more, and I had a combination of 8. But then you get stuff like this. 5X equals 30.
I gotta stay.
Come on. Where'd you start? So basically with this one, it's what you do is the same rule apply. What you do on one side, you have to do it to the other. So only the difference is you don't subtract 5, because subtract is not the opposite of multiplication. Does anybody know what the multiplication? Division. So what would you do?
You divide 5 by both sides.
Right. So, and basically if you have 1 on top of 1 as a fraction, what does that give you?
1.
If you have 2 on top of 2, what does that give you?
1.
3 on top of 3.
1.
So 5 on top of 5 gives you what?
1.
But 1 times X will give you what?
X.
Exactly. So now you just have X, and what is 30 divided by 5 equals? Everybody knows that's 6.
It's 6.
So as you can see here, like I said, it could go for anything. So if I did 5y times 5y, and the guy's not written it down yet. Okay, 5y minus 2. Now you got both of them. So it gets actually easier than these. So equals 8. This is where you do the onion method. So you got the y, and that's the core of your onion. Then you got the 5, right? And then you got the 2. Okay, say you're peeling something. What do? You start from the inside or do you start from the outside? You start from the outside and you peel away. So if this is an onion and your y is in the core, what do you want to do?
Add 2.
So you wanted to get rid of the 2 first, right, Josh?
Right.
So what would you do?
Add 2.
So you would add 2. So 5y minus 2 equals 8. So it's plus 2 plus 2. So then you get 5y equals 10, right? So then what would you do then, Kumar?
I'm thinking you need to take the
Multiplicative inverse.
inverse. So you divide by 5.
Exactly.
Y equals 2.
Yep. So right now what I'm going to want you guys to do is I'm going to put some problems up on the board. If you need any help solving any of them, that'd be great. So if anybody has any questions about the notes?
Yeah.
Come on.
How do you check whenever you get like y equals 2? How do you know that it equals 2?
What you would do then is take it, so let's do this example. So we got y equals 6. What you would then do is since x equals 6, you would put x back into the equation. So you get 5 times 6 equals 30. Here, so you get 2, 10, 5. So whatever you get, the best way to check it is to put it back into the original equation. And then if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work. Then you get into squares in which you have extraneous solutions, but that's for next year. Alright, so here's the problem. Anybody needs paper or anything, if you have any questions, just come up and ask. Get some paper out. Let's get to work.
In the second equation, what does it equal?
Good point. I forgot to put that. So give me a number. 12. All right, then. All right.
last one, if you subtract 500, you get a negative number.
Okay, good eye. Back to the notes. So, if you have 2, and you have to get to 0, you subtract 2, right? Doesn't that look a lot like negative 2 when you subtract 2? So what would you have to do to get to 0 from that? Add 2. So, and then positive and negative cancel out, and you get 0. So basically what you would do in this one, I shouldn't have put this one up on the board, but when you subtract 500, what would you get, Kumar?
Negative 400.
Exactly. So you got negative 400. So then you divide by 50, and what do you get? 80.
Negative 80.
Negative 80. And then that's just the answer. X equals negative 80 because it's a negative number. And then you can always plug that back into the equation. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Josh?
Like, on your onion method, you always have to go from the outside. You can't like start by like dividing first and then add 2 like it was that. Like you can't just divide by 3 and then add 2.
No, because basically you're doing the order of operations backwards. You see what I'm saying? So, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You would do that backwards. So subtraction, addition, and it goes like that.
40 seconds left.
All right.
The class.
So here, the answer you'll get. Okay, check your answer. So here you'll get x equals 6. That. Here you get plus. So then you add 2. You get 3x equals 4. I shouldn't have. And then you get x equals 14 over 3. And did anybody else have any questions? All right, this has been a good class. You all can pack up. Let's go eat lunch.